well-known to baseballers here today.
Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. We cover everything Major League, from spring training to the World Series. We've got your favorite club covered, from New York to Boston to LA. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast, where we discuss the latest news in the world of baseball, including things like today's show, Jeremiah, where we have the Home Run Derby, All-Star Game, talking a little bit about the ESPYs. We had a couple baseball winners. Obviously, Best Baseball Player is an award that someone has to win. But then we had another baseball player win another award, Jeremiah.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so I'm Ben here, and we're going to be, first off, we're going to be going into our first segment here on the show. Is going to be about the Home Run Derby, which was on Monday night. We previewed it, talked about some of the participants in last week's show.
Well, we got a little bit of participants wrong. I think the final list was unveiled, I think, Sunday night or that Monday, but whatever. We have a recap for you guys.
Okay, yes we do. So first and foremost, we have Giancarlo Stanton winning the Home Run Derby. He hit a record 61 home runs total.
Yes, he put on quite a show. Yes.
Yeah, and then Todd Frazier ended up coming in second place. So Todd Frazier the last 3 years has come second, first, and second place. So he ended up coming in second, and he also hit a home run derby record, 42 home runs, to really be outpassed there by Giancarlo Stanton. The old record was Bobby Abreu in 2005. He had 41 home runs. So two guys really break that record there. Unfortunately for Frazier, Giancarlo Stanton broke the record the same year and really crushed the whole entire field by really almost 20. So
he literally hit the ball past the apartments behind the building. That's how far he hit it. I was like, Giancarlo Stanton was made for the home run derby. He is a prototypical power hitter.
And that's one of the reasons why I picked him last week when we did our preview. I mentioned my two favorites were Giancarlo Stanton and Todd Frazier, and they finished 1-2. So for once, I got something right. So I'm going to pat myself on the back there. I forgot who
I picked. I think I picked Will Myers for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, I think you had like the hometown thing going for you there with Will Myers of the Padres playing in Petco Park, his home ballpark. So I think you had that going for you. But so anyways, you have the sort of round by round results, because the way they did it, the way baseball did it, was they had sort of like two guys match off in like a tournament bracket style.
Yeah, they have like the number 1 seed faces the number 8 seed. So yeah, in the first round, number 1 seed Mark Trumbo defeated Corey Seager 16-15 home runs.
And the way they did the rankings was based off how many home runs you've hit so far, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. So
Trumbo, obviously the leader in home runs, he was number 1 seed.
He put on quite a show too in the early rounds. And, the eventual winner and 5th seed, Giancarlo Stanton, defeated Robinson Cano 24-7.
He just absolutely killed him.
Yeah, he had like no chance. No chance at all. There's a tweet I saw too. I think it was kind of like it was from like one of these parody accounts. I forgot which one, but like there was a tweet to say, "Well, Robinson Cano's son was saying, Daddy, you have no chance against Giancarlo Stanton."
Well, and
I
he's
don't
right.
know,
So,
but it was like a joke tweet, so it's from a parody account. I forgot which one, but anyways, number 3 seed Adam Duvall, who is one of the breakthrough players this season, defeated Will Myers, the hometown, player from the San Diego Padres, 11-10.
So it's pretty close, only a one home run differential there. So that's not bad. It's not like he got really embarrassed like Cano did.
No. Cano had literally no chance. Wow. I still can't get over that.
Well, going up against Giancarlo Stanton, we mentioned leading into our home run derby preview that we thought just the sheer power he has is going to be that determining factor, and it really was. So
Yeah, and then number 2 seed, Todd Frazier defeated Carlos Gonzalez of the Colorado Rockies, 13-12. So that leads to the semifinals when we have Stanton and Mark Trumbo matching up, and Frazier matching up against Adam Duvall. So Stanton defeated Trumbo 17-14. Frazier defeated Duvall 16-15. Very close race in the end. And that set up the final matchup between Stanton and Frazier. And Stanton won 20-13.
The way they did this home run derby, and the way they've done it the last couple of years, is they do it on a timer now.
Yeah, isn't it like a 5-minute timer?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly.
And then they can call a timeout any time of during the time limit.
Right. I'm not sure exactly where they start off, because if you hit a home run over a certain distance, your time goes up. So obviously that helps people like Stan, because of the 21 longest home runs in this competition, he hit 20 of them.
Yeah.
So if you can hit a home run, I think the time or the distance was 440 feet. So if you can hit monster home runs like Stanton did, you have more time, so you have more time to hit, obviously, which means more home runs. So I like the way they do that now instead of the outs. Like an out would be if you don't hit a home run. I like the way they do that because you have, obviously, you have the speed going up. You don't have people taking pitches, sort of taking their time to get the right pitch. And also you have like a totally different dynamic here. Like Stanton mentioned that he wasn't swinging totally full power because he wanted the ball to not travel as high. He wanted to go out faster as opposed to go farther, because that way you can't get another ball thrown to you until the ball has left the park. So if you have your balls going out faster, you have obviously more time to hit. So if you sort of change up your dynamic there on your swing, you have more time, which means you can hit more home runs. I like that. You also have an added sort of excitement there. It's like, oh my God, like he has to hit a home run in the next 10 seconds. The clock's ticking. Like he needs to hurry. Yeah. He needs to, hopefully get a good pitch here. This ball needs to hurry up and come down. So you have that dynamic there. I really, really do like.
Yeah, I think that was kind of like the situation with Mark Trumbo when he was playing against Stan. I think he had about 30 seconds, and like all the announcers like, "Whoa, it looks like it's going to be Stanton this round," because you got to hit I think he had to hit like around 4 to 3 to catch up to Stanton. He wasn't going to tie it in 30 seconds. You just can't do it. But yeah, man, it was a probably really fun derby to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Really fun. It was fun to watch. Yes.
It was literally the best home run derby for what it says. Like if you're a fan of the home run, you saw the most home runs. You saw 2 records being broke on the same night, with Stanton's 61 and Frazier's 42. Yeah,
it literally lived up to like the name of the competition, the home run derby. It's all you saw. Everybody but Robinson Cano hit more than 10 home runs.
Right. Unfortunately for Cano, and you don't really look at Cano as much of a power hitter. He does have power. He definitely has some pop, but when I think of Cano, I think of a guy who's a great contact hitter.
Yeah.
So unfortunately for Cano, he couldn't really get it done. But in like batting practice, which basically what the home run derby is, everyone has a chance to really hit a lot of home runs. So, I mean, yeah, I thought that was definitely nice though.
But how do you think Madison Bumgarner would have done?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like we talked about this a couple episodes now with Bumgarner. He was wanting to do it, and then he didn't end up doing it last week.
After watching this, he would have had no chance.
No, like I think he would have
no chance.
I think he would have even been behind what Cano did.
Yeah.
So
he would have had no chance. There's no way he would have go toe to toe with Stanton, Frazier. Yeah. There's no way he would have had a chance in this year's competition.
Yeah, that's why I would have loved to seen a pitchers only home run derby. We talked about
we did
being possibly a scenario MLB might want to look at. I would have loved that. We could have seen like Arrieta wanted to do it. Adam Wainwright of the Cardinals was really vocal about doing it. Bumgarner. Maybe you throw in a wild card. I would have loved to seen like Bartolo Colon do it. Like
I would love to seen that too.
Like hitting his first career home
Colon's
run.
Probably like the most entertaining player in the game.
Like Colon hit his first home run of his career this year at like 41 years of age for the Mets.
He took like a 3-minute trot around the bases.
Well, I mean, he's kind of a bigger guy. Yeah. He doesn't have much in there. But I would have loved to have seen like just like for fun, a little fun little thing. Maybe they moved the fences in a little bit. I don't know, but that would have been good. Like. That would have been entertaining.
Yeah,
so.
It would definitely be entertaining, but Yeah.
But yeah, so Giancarlo Stanton runs away with the home run derby trophy. He ended up hitting a home run on 51.7% of swings. So not only was he sort of hitting the long balls to get more time, but he was really in that groove. He was definitely hitting more home runs than not, 51.7%. So congrats to Giancarlo Stanton of the Miami Marlins.
And now we will talk about the All-Star game. Yes.
Yeah, so we're gonna take our first break before we do that, though. So we're gonna take our first break here at the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. As Jeremiah mentioned, we're gonna come in with our next segment talking about the All-Star game, recapping that, which was on Tuesday night. And we're gonna be right back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. And Ben and I will actually recap the All-Star game that happened earlier this week on Tuesday. Yeah, did you happen to catch the All-Star game?
I didn't get to watch it. The game started at 5 o'clock here, West Coast time.
Yeah.
I was working till about 6:30. By the time I get home, it's a little after 7. Then I decided I would go out to In-N-Out Burger, which was delicious.
I love In-N-Out. Yes, you can never go wrong.
Yeah, In-N-Out's probably my favorite fast food restaurant.
Yeah, it is my favorite too. Did you happen to get the animal style fries?
No, I go with the well done fries. So like they're a little extra crispy.
Interesting.
I love the crispy fries. So if you asked to get them well done, they cook them a little longer, so they're more of a golden brown as opposed to just like a white.
Yeah, I don't like the regular fries that they have. I gotta have an animal style, man.
Okay, yeah, animal style is obviously really popular.
Have animal style burger, Neapolitan shake, all three flavors. There you go. All right.
But anyways, moving on. So I did not get to watch the game. I did see the highlights. Did you watch the game?
I did not actually. I was actually working just like you, and then but I did. I did get a chance to look at the box score, and
yeah, I saw the highlights and everything.
I think the thing that really stood out to me was that Johnny Cueto just absolutely got destroyed in this game.
in the 2 innings he pitched he started the game. He was the NL starting pitcher. He pitched an inning and two-thirds. He gave up 5 hits. He gave up 3 earned runs. 2 of them were home runs. He gave up home runs to Salvador Perez and Eric Hosmer, both of the Kansas City Royals. So he, for a guy who's having such a great year at 13-1 for the Giants, did not have the greatest outing in the All-Star game. It is just obviously an exhibition game, so nothing goes towards his records for the Giants. But still, do you think that? And real quick, the American League did win the game 4-2.
Yeah, 4-2. Yes.
So behind Eric Hosmer, we just mentioned, hit a home run. He was the MVP. So talking about Cueto a little bit before we break down some of the game, do you think that his bad outing here in the All-Star game, do you think that will have some sort of effect as games pick up again tomorrow?
No, I do not think so. No. Well, think about it. He's going against guys at an All-Star team, All-Star lineup. So yeah, I don't see it. I don't see him like struggling in the second half. Maybe having one bad start or two, because every pitcher is not perfect. So no, I don't see him like derailing his season. No, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Real quick, I'll share my opinion. I think that I agree with you. I think it's just an exhibition game. He doesn't really take too much into consideration. Yeah. I think if anything, the one bad thing you can kind of take away is that the Giants seem like they're going to start him on Saturday, because on Friday they'll be starting Madison Bumgarner, who came off Sunday Night Baseball against the Diamondbacks. He pitched a complete game, 1 hitter.
Almost threw a no-hitter.
Yeah, he had a no-hitter going into the 8th inning, but then it got broken up. So he threw a complete game, 1 hitter. He had 14 strikeouts, so a dominant outing for Madison Bumgarner. So he was not able to play in the All-Star game with only on 1 day rest. But Cueto did pitch almost 2 innings on Tuesday, and now he's going to pitch it seems like he's going to be starting on Saturday for the Giants. So there is a little
He's
bit
playing
of
against the Padres, so he'll be fine.
there is a little bit of like, you could say maybe his 1 2/3 in the All-Star game is sort of compared to a like just an outing he would have in the bullpen midweek in preparation to a start. Maybe that a little tired arm. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to wait and see on Saturday how he does. But for the All-Star game, the American League now has won 4 in a row. They've also won 11 out of the last 14 All-Star games. And now because they won the American League, they will be hosting and having the home field advantage for the World Series, whomever is in the game. So do you think that's more of an advantage for the American League? Obviously, they will have more home games if they need to. If there's a Game 7, it'll be in the home American League ballpark. I feel like in a way, it kind of helps the NL, though.
Yeah, exactly, because of the designated hitter for that extra game. Like I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago. Because when the American League team goes to a National League ballpark, they lose a hitter, and then the National League gains a hitter when they go to the American League ballpark. So in a way, it does kind of help the National League to have that extra batter for that pivotal Game 7, if it happens to come that way. Because I remember the last Giants championship in 2014, they played the Royals at Kauffman Stadium, which was a dominant game by Madison Bumgarner, 5 inning save. But yeah, it does kind of give the advantage to National League because they're gaining a hitter. But yeah, I think honestly it depends on like whoever pitches that Game 7. Honestly, for both teams, honestly.
Okay.
We don't know what two teams are going to be in there. We're going to have to obviously wait. But yeah, it does give the NL a little bit of advantage, but at the same time, it does give the American League the home field advantage, and there's nothing better than playing in front of a home crowd in case it comes to a pivotal Game 7.
Right. I mentioned this a couple episodes ago, as you mentioned, Jeremiah. I hate the NL pitching, the pitcher is a hitter rule, and the American League you have the DH. I hate that rule because it's not consistent. I feel like in the World Series is more so when you have obviously a longer series. When you have like interleague play, you really have both back and forth. So you have some NL teams going to AL ballparks, AL teams going to NL ballparks. In the World Series, you have them really going back and forth. I hate the rule because I feel like no matter what, the NL team is getting an advantage, because if the NL is in a home ballpark, or the NL team is in their home ballpark, I should say, they really just business as usual. They have their pitcher hitting, which they have all year long. And then when they go to the American League ballpark, they have, oh, wow, we can get like an extra hitter.
Yeah.
We'll have a DH.
Yeah, they're even like shuffle their lineup a little bit as well, to give like one of their best hitters that is on the field. Kind of like a semi-rest, from playing defense and then just being a hitter that game. So yeah.
Yeah, so they have that added, like, okay, we can have a hitter instead of a pitcher. And then when you have the American League team, if they're in their home ballpark, it's just as they're accustomed to all year long. And then when they have to go to the NL ballpark, it's like, wow, we're losing a guy who hits every single day for us. Like, think about when the Red Sox would have to go to NL ballpark.
Yeah, they'll probably lose David Ortiz for a game or two.
So I feel like that is not really a good rule. I don't like it.
Or they might just slot him in first base.
Yeah, but he's not much of a fielder, so then you have the liability there at an important position in first base. So I feel like that rule, I would love to see it change. I don't know if it's going to happen, but a lot of the players don't really like the whatever league wins gets the home field advantage. They'd rather have it go on as a record, which it does in every other sport. They don't like how the winner of the All-Star game gets the host or the advantage in the World Series. They don't really like that rule. I personally do like that.
I like it because it makes it more meaningful than all these other All-Star games that we have.
Exactly. I do like that rule for what Jeremiah just mentioned. It gives just more meaning. It gives you a reason to watch. It gives the players a little more of a reason to play as opposed to just kind of taking it easy.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a team.
They won't feel relaxed, and be like, oh, this game doesn't matter. It really does matter.
Right, especially if you're a team that is really in the thick of things, kind of like, I'm just going to name teams like the Indians, the Giants, the Cubs, teams that could honestly possibly be there.
Or the Rangers, too.
Right, teams that could realistically be there come World Series time. Like, for a team like, if you're from the Braves, if you're Will Myers from the Padres, this game doesn't really really mean much because you're not going to be there come playoff time.
Yeah, it's just like probably it's like a extra game for those guys. For that our teams are not in contention, like Will Myers, like you just said. Who I wouldn't be surprised if he got traded. But anyway.
We'll always update that here. We have the trade deadline coming up within the next couple of weeks. We'll have to do our predictions and possibilities of people moving.
And a trade deadline recap. But that won't be till the end of the month. So
right. So the American League did win the All-Star game. Jeremiah, you did predict that on last week's show. I said that the NL would win. And then on Tuesday, I actually switched it. Alex and I did a segment on the sports show.
Because so you flip-flopped, huh?
Well, yeah. And here's my reason behind that. Because as we talked last week, the NL were still going to have Noah Syndergaard of the Mets, Yoenis Cespedes of the Mets, but then they got injured actually that Thursday night, so they both did not play in the All-Star game. Dexter Fowler was kind of on the fence, the starting center fielder for the Cubs, and he got replaced by Marcell Ozuna because he still has a nagging injury. And then with the addition of Syndergaard not playing, we had Bumgarner coming in who pitched Sunday night, so he was only working on 1 day's rest for Tuesday's game, so he didn't pitch as well. So I felt like the loss of those two pitchers with the addition of Cespedes would maybe be too much for the NL team to overcome. So then I kind of switched it to the AL, and obviously the AL won. So I'm not saying that's the determining factor, but it did not definitely help them when two of the best starting pitchers in the National League and a guy like Yoenis Cespedes, who's capable of hitting a home run every time he steps up to plate, are not in the game, that definitely hurts them. So
yeah, well, the reason why I picked the American League is basically the lineup. You see what this lineup did to Cueto, who's having probably the best year of any National League pitcher. And they're just like full of power hitters too. You saw power from Eric Hosmer. He's not really relatively considered a power hitter. He's more of a contact guy, but he does have some pop. Yeah, that's why I picked them to win this game. And not only that, they kind of have the advantage over the National League over the past 4 years now. So
yeah, ironically enough, the NL team did out-hit the American League team 10-8, but it was obviously the ultimate equalizer with the home runs from Hosmer and Perez that got it done for the American League. So they went 4-2. The winning pitcher is Corey Kluber from the Indians. Johnny Cueto gets the loss, and then Britton with the save there for the American League.
And Eric Hosmer wins MVP, going 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs.
Yeah, basically because of that 2-run home run he hit there.
Yeah, well, home run actually, it was a solo home run. It was it tied the game it tied the game in the second inning.
Yeah, that's right. Then Perez hit the 2.
Yeah,
right.
and then Hosmer hit a RBI single that made the game 4-1. So that kind of that's when they started to a little bit run away with it a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah, so the American League now, as we mentioned, winners of the last 4 All-Star games, 11 of the last 14. They're also going to have the home field advantage for the World Series coming up in October. So,
by the way, you know who replaced Madison Bumgarner on the roster?
Who's that?
Bartolo Colon. I just had to say that.
I think it's kind of funny, but you could say that Colon has maybe been the most consistent starter for the Mets this year.
Not only that, he's been really consistent for the past few years too. And
at such an old age, 41.
He gives hope to the average guy that you can do anything.
He even hit a home run this year.
Exactly. So. He gives average men hope, and I like that about him.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone likes the true underdog story.
Yeah.
So we're going to take our last break here at the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network here at the Baseball Podcast. Well, as we come back from the break, we're going to be breaking down a little bit of the ESPYs last night. We had our MLB Player of the Year announced, and we had a breakout Player of the Year who happens to be playing baseball as well. So we're going to talk about that and maybe preview a little bit of an upcoming ESPN 30 for 30 documentary on 2 players that were on the New York Mets. So
yeah.
We're going to take our break real quick, and then we'll have that on the other side. We'll be right back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's GSMCpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Yeah. I love this. That's like a great stadium song.
Yeah. Are y'all ready for this?
Yeah, there you
it
go.
reminds me of Space Jam, you know?
It's a great stadium song.
Yeah,
So we're back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast alongside Jeremiah. I'm Ben. Moving into our last segment here, we had the ESPY Awards last night. Sports, basically, award show, best everything, best athletes, best team, best performance, best play.
Yeah, it was a really good award show. I enjoyed it last night.
Yeah, I like the ESPYs. Obviously, I'm going to be biased because I'm a sports fan. I also enjoy watching the Grammys and the Oscars.
I do love the Grammys. I do love the Grammys. I'm a huge music guy, so yeah.
I definitely love the ESPYs a lot. though. So I was definitely impressed with the show last night.
I
was happy that John Cena was the host. I like WWE,
he actually did really good. I actually enjoyed him.
Yeah, he's a pretty good guy. If you watch wrestling, he always has great promos. So I was not surprised that he did a good job.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised either. Even you can John Cena's that love or hate guy among the WWE fan base, but I'm not going to talk about that because this isn't a wrestling podcast. But anyway, yeah, going back to the ESPYs, all the packages for the Arthur Ashe Award, the Jamie V Award, they were very well done. When Craig Sager, when he accepted his award, and the Tavion Dobson story was just tear jerking. It brought it was very emotional. And the beginning when when LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul, and Dwayne Wade, they kind of made that statement in the beginning. That was very powerful, and it's probably the most memorable ESPYs I've ever seen. So yeah, that's my overall perspective on the whole show. But relating it to baseball, there's a couple of MLB award winners yesterday. Most notably Bryce Harper won the Best Major League Baseball Player Award.
Yeah, so Bryce Harper wins the category. It also featured Josh Donaldson of the Blue Jays, Jake Arrieta, the pitcher of the Cubs, Mike Trout, All-Star outfielder for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, as well as Clayton Kershaw, Dodgers pitcher. So Bryce Harper comes out on top. It is a fan vote, so I feel like I would maybe put Mike Trout overall as a better player, in my opinion. I think he's more of a five-tool player, more well-rounded. I think Harper's definitely maybe a little better with the bat, but with Trout, you have the addition of fielding and as well as his ability on the base pads. So I think Trout's maybe a little better of a player. I have no disrespect to Bryce Harper. I think he's probably...
Well, Harper's the more popular player.
Exactly, like said, that's what I was going to say, because it is a fan vote.
He's a more flashy guy.
He's the more outgoing guy. You see him more sort of in the controversy. I think of the Goose Gossage, unwritten rules of baseball scandal that always goes back and forth between everybody here whenever you have an issue of people staring down a ball or whatever. So you kind of have Bryce Harper kind of leading that new age baseball player era, so he's a lot more popular. You mentioned when you look at Trout, you see him with things like Subway, not really outspoken on anything, so not really surprised that it is Bryce Harper, and congratulations to Bryce Harper. I didn't really give Donaldson much of a chance.
Yeah, I don't either. I didn't either, and it's hard for pitchers to win this award.
Yeah,
so
it's hard for pitchers because they only really play once out of every 5 days. You look at people like Trout,
and they play a total of 30 to 33 games a season. So
if they can stay healthy, because with pitchers they are more commonly injured than people that are playing in the field every day.
Yeah.
So.
And not only that, Harper was also nominated for Best Male Athlete, which I actually didn't think he had a chance of winning. He was going up against guys like LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Cam Newton. So him going up those guys, I didn't really see much of a chance because those are probably three of the most popular athletes overall. And Harper's not even the popularity for Harper's somewhat near there, but he plays a sport that's not popular, so that's probably why,
Yeah, and that Best Male Athlete Award did go to LeBron James of the Cavaliers. Yeah. But we did have another baseball winner, so we had the Best Breakthrough Athlete. It actually went to Cubs pitcher Jake Arrieta. So Arrieta was also nominated with MMA fighter Conor McGregor, Chloe Kim. She's a snowboarder.
Yeah, 16 years old snowboarder, by the way.
Yeah, so she's definitely got quite a future. And then you have as well an NBA player, Karl Anthony Towns. He was the unanimous Rookie of the Year award winner for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So Jake Arrieta wins that. I think really just off the second half he had of the baseball season, winning the NL Cy Young, that dominant second half he had, breakthrough athlete. So congratulations to Arrieta. get it done in.
Yeah, he wasn't present when he.
Right, but he also didn't get it done in the best MLB player, but he does win the best breakthrough athlete. So that's good for Jake Arrieta.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that he won that award.
I would have thought it would have gone to McGregor.
I thought it was McGregor's award. Honestly, I'm really surprised. I was like, all right.
Because McGregor's one of the most popular MMA fighters out there. Yeah, definitely one of the most outspoken as well.
And he's probably rising as being the most popular, one of the popular athletes in the world too. So
yeah, I was surprised he did not get
up there. But yeah, I was really surprised every other one. But yeah, congrats to him, man, pulling an upset. All right.
Well, in some people's regards, I would say upset as well.
I think it was an upset because I didn't expect him to win that award. So like I said, pitchers usually don't win these type of awards, and
he did.
Yeah, he did.
He proved us wrong.
Yeah.
All right, so real quick before we end the show here, we have just one more quick segment we want to touch on. There's an upcoming ESPN 30 for 30 documentary. ESPN 30 for 30 is always a great series. They always do.
Yeah, it's premiering tonight actually.
They always do a great job. So as Jeremiah mentioned, it's premiering tonight. It's called Doc and Daryl. It's going to be talking about Doc Gooden and Daryl Strawberry of the Mets during the 80s, how they sort of had that high rise and then the low, obviously.
Low.
So it's going to be directed by people like Judd Apatow. He's obviously done a great number of comedies during the day, things like Knocked Up and stuff.
And most notably Trainwreck too, which I kind of enjoyed.
Yeah, Trainwreck was a good movie, and it's also going to be.
John Cena was also in. Yeah.
Yeah, he made a cameo there as well as LeBron James. So it's also going to be directed by Michael Bonfiglio as well. So.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
Yeah, that premieres tonight. It's on ESPN. You can also find it on like the internet somehow if you can watch the Watch ESPN app.
Yeah,
it's going to be on demand there. So looking forward to watching that. We'll maybe have to do a review next week.
Yeah, maybe. And I like the whole premise of it. It has Doc and Gooden and Daryl Strawberry. They're in a diner, kind of like looking back to like their
heyday.
Their heyday back, when they were in the Mets. When they were having their highs and lows. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to. I love 30 for 30. It's just
they always do every 30 for 30 is a good job.
I still got to catch the OJ one. I can't believe I haven't seen it yet.
It's a 5-part series, the OJ one, and they really dive deep into it. The first episode is kind of slow. It kind of talks about like the rise and legend of OJ, and then with the rest of them, they start diving into like the trial, what happened recently with him trying to get his stuff back from Vegas, the sort of problems in LA with like race and religion and stuff like that. So
yeah, I gotta check it out.
It's really good.
Yeah. But yeah, these 30 for 30s are always so well done. They're so well done too. So yeah, did that conclude our show?
Yes, this does conclude our show. We do have one more to basically record as well. We're going to be talking about the MLB's best team record-wise, San Francisco Giants. Going to update on some of the best prospects that are going around some in the minor leagues as well. So
and Yu Darvish is expected to come off the DL to pitch Saturday for the Texas Rangers. So
yeah, he's had his fair share of injuries throughout the year. So Yu Darvish, hopefully he can come back and really add to the Rangers, who are another great team in the American League. So.
Right, so you can follow the GSMC podcast on Twitter at GSMC_baseball, as well as on Instagram at the same handle. And on Facebook, you can also like us, Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. And you can catch us for new episodes every week on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube. Am I forgetting one? Google Play.
I think you touched on all of them.
We only do 2 episodes every week, Thursday, Friday. So that's supposed to be that schedule as of now. So yeah.
I feel like we did a good show.
We did good. This is a very good show. I liked it.
Giancarlo Stanton wins the Home Run Derby. Yeah. The American League wins the MLB All-Star game.
And Bryce Harper and Jake Arrieta take home ESPYs. So yep.
All right. So we hope you enjoyed the show, and thank you for listening. And we will be back with the episode tomorrow. So have a good day, guys. Goodbye.